Are we online? I think we're online. Yes, awesome. Hey guys, it's April, and here we are again doing another live stream. It's your girl Lisa. Alrighty, so I'm just gonna talk about a few housekeeping things while everyone joins in and starts to get involved in the chat. Hey Nancy, I need to turn off my phone so nobody's interrupting our precious time together. So in the lead up to this live stream, I sent out an email to all of my subscribers to see what questions you guys had for analyzing argument, and I had so many, more than any other live stream I've had in the past. So I guess it goes to show that this is a topic that you guys really want to know about, or on the other hand, one that you feel quite uncertain about. So I will be going through quite a few of those questions that were asked through my mailing list because they got in early, and then as we go through this chat, I'll answer more of your questions as well. Now, a couple of things. What I wrote down what I wanted to say. Hey Jessica, hey Monique, hi Ruth. Don't worry, you need help with language analysis. That's what we're here for. So, I have already popped in the description box below a lot of the links to things that I'll be talking about today because I guess I had a look through the questions and thought about what my answers would be, and so I have pre-loaded everything in the description box below. So anything I talk about, I will point you down there, but just letting you know, like you guys can go and click on those links to any of my blogs that I'm going to refer to, any articles I'm going to refer to, the online course that I'll be referring to as well. And I really wanted to thank you guys for the amazing reception that I've had for my special news video that I released the other week. And if you guys don't know already, I have been nominated as a Victorian Young Achievers finalist, and so we'd find out who will be the winner on May 18th. But until then, you guys can actually get involved and vote for me if you support what I do, and that's Lisa Study Guide, so providing education for you guys. So I've also popped in a link just down below where you can vote. You don't need to fill in any of your details. It's super easy. You just it just directs you to Facebook, and then you just find my face, click my name, and then just press submit. So yeah, it's so funny because my biggest fan is my mum, and she has literally been voting for me every single day. So yeah, thanks Mum. Okay, so Tessa says our language analysis SAC is on Monday. Yes, this is why I wanted to do this at this time because I know that a lot of you are pretty much dealing with this now. So I can see that my stream health is amber, it's not green, which I think means that, I don't know, there might be some lag times and things like that with this video, but bear with me. I feel like I'm looking forward to the NBN coming because the internet should be better, but I've heard all these terrible things about it, so I don't know, cross fingers. Is language analysis exclusive to those only in year 12? No, you start studying language analysis or analyzing argument when you're in year 10, and it goes up from there. So I want to put a disclaimer, because this syllabus is still quite new. A lot of us are still using these terms interchangeably, so analyzing argument and language analysis. And I do that too. I'm trying to teach myself to say analyzing argument because that is what the course is now called. or at least a section in the English course. But if I slip up and say language analysis, then I still mean analyzing argument. So if people are asking questions about language analysis or analyzing argument, it's the same thing at the end of the day. Like, I will teach you the stuff that is relevant to your course now. Okay, good. Hey, Audrey. Okay. Ebony says, NBN is a myth, like me passing year 12. It's just a lost cause. I mean, yes, NBN as a myth, but year 12 is not a lost cause. That's why you're here, right? Okay. So I'm going to start answering some of these questions. Okay. So the first question comes from Tam, and Tam asks, hey Lisa, what are the main things to look for when annotating an article? So obviously some of the main things that you'll be looking at will be your main points. So contention, you're looking for arguments, you're looking for language techniques, but when you come to actually annotating the article, I always try to find my best to discover the hidden techniques. So what I mean by that are just the ones that are more subtle. So there are some really obvious ones like rhetorical questions, inclusive language, stats. Why do I say they're really obvious? Well, because like they're in your face, you know, like nobody can really miss a rhetorical question. It literally is a question. So I try to see beyond those and really look into the article itself. What is this? Okay, whatever. So how I do that is I really look at every individual sentence. I feel like a lot of students kind of gloss over sentences, and within sentences are phrase and words that you can analyze. Like one specific word you could spend a whole sentence talking about, and I feel like a lot of students kind of miss that opportunity because they just gloss over that paragraph and go, okay, what's like the general paragraph about? And then they might like slap, like let's just say if the paragraph is a person reflecting on something that has happened to them in the past, so an anecdote, right? They'll literally just group the entire thing. So let's say it's like 5 sentences on the anecdote and just say they use an anecdote, which shows that they have experience. But then you can delve deeper into that. So in each of the sentences, you know, is there an appeal to a certain emotion that this author is trying to extract from you? Are they referring to their childhood? So then that brings a sense of nostalgia as well. So you can see that even within like one big language technique can be lots of little ones. So that's like my go-to tip, and I feel like that's always been a really good one to help my students. Okay. Next one is, hi Lisa, I find your videos very helpful and love watching them. Thank you so much, Brandon. This question comes from Brandon. I'd like to know how to properly write a concluding paragraph to a language analysis. I seem to get stuck with conclusions all the time, which make it hard for me to finish. Can you please help me out? I really like this question. It's a great question. I have to say that my best response would have to be in a video, like a separate one where I really delve into it. So I will do that. I'll add it to my list. But just to give you some pointers now, your language analysis conclusion does not need to be long. You do not need to spend a long time on it. So even 1 sentence or 2 sentences, just like keep it clean, keep it sharp, and be done with it. You really want to spend most of your time actually doing the analysis, which is in your body paragraphs. But in your conclusion, you're just kind of summarizing the contention, you know? So if that's all you're doing, summarizing the contention, you can do that in a sentence. So just keep it sharp and clean. That's my tip. Okay. Let's see. Let's switch pace and have a look at some of the live questions that are coming in. Monique says NBN is awful. Aww, doesn't give me much hope, does it? Okay, so Ebony asks, how do you cut down quotations? My teacher says 5 words is like the limit for a quote, and I just don't know how to properly embed them when they're short. Okay, so by the way, guys, any of the questions that you are asking me, I'm going to take in the context of language analysis. So if you're asking me random questions about, text response or reading, comparing, or stuff that's just not related, I won't be answering them. And everything, again, will be taken in the context of analyzing argument. So it's quite easy to cut down quotes. You just remember that you don't have to quote an entire sentence. You just need to quote the core, like the essence of what you're talking about. And what you can do is, if you have a really long quote and you need some at the start and some at the end, you can take both bits, cut out everything in the middle and just go ... So that's kind of my tip on how to quote. On my website, vcstudyguides.com, I have written this entire study guide on how to quote and how to embed quotes. So go check that out. Okay, Q. So, okay, Nancy asks the question, is there a particular structure that you need to follow when writing a language analysis? And this actually echoes one of the other questions that, who was it? Pawana asked, and somebody else asked about it too. So, yeah, where did I write it down? Oh yeah, Lily asked about it too. So what are the pros and cons about different types of essay structures? This one will require also a video on its own. But the way that I personally go about analyzing argument is I like to use the bridge method. The bridge method is essentially an in-between of your block method, where you start your first half of the essay with Article 1, and then you go into Article 2 for your second half of the essay. So that's called a block, because you're like just doing them in blocks, right? Then there's like integrated, which is where Article 1 and Article 2, or even if you have 3 articles, doesn't matter, 1, 2, 3, they're all integrated in every single body paragraph. To me, that's quite intensive and unnecessary for analysing argument, so I sit in between. So I call it the bridge method. I don't know if this is what other teachers call it, but that's what I've called it for myself. So what that means is I start off with my first article, and then before I go into my second article, which is later on my essay, in between, I will have a paragraph where I do comparisons of Article 1 and Article 2. So, I know that, I'm not showing you it visually, like I don't have an animation for you or anything, but hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, I think I should do a video on that. What do you think? Okay, so Katrina asks, hi Lisa, do you recommend the capitals framework? I actually have no idea what the capitals framework is, so if you care to elaborate, maybe we could discuss it further. I don't know why I just said it like that. Okay, so Monique says, my teacher keeps saying I'm using baby words, such as tells, explains. What other words could I use? Honestly, girlfriend, just jump onto the thesaurus and start looking there. So if you type in the word tells, you will be able to find a bunch of other words you can use. That's how I started with my, expansion of vocabulary, and I have found it incredibly helpful. I do it today. I'm always using the thesaurus to help me better the way that I want to articulate something. You just have to be really careful when you use a thesaurus. Not all words which are synonyms like have the same meaning as that original word. So, like you could have tells, right? But then if you say, look, I'm literally going to look it up in a thesaurus now. A synonym of tells is to reveal, right? But another synonym of tell is inform. They're completely two different things. Like they're both still telling someone something. But to reveal is to kind of show them something that they haven't seen before, or tell them something they haven't seen before or know about. Whereas inform is to teach them something. You're still telling them stuff, but yeah, you got to be really careful when you're using the thesaurus. It's really funny when students use a thesaurus and like they replace words and it's just like, it's not the right word. And you only know through experience, but yeah. So just be wary of that. Okay. Okay. Ben says, hi Lisa, how long should you spend on annotating an article? It really just depends on how your SAC is determined. I'm going to base this off exams because everybody's exam is the same at the end of the year. But essentially anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes max. Yeah. But you got to figure out what works for you, like you might be somebody who is a really sharp annotator, like you get things done quick, but you take longer to write an essay. So you'd want to spend more time on that. Whereas it could be the other way around. You might want to spend more time annotating. Okay. Great questions, by the way, guys. This is really good. Okay. I am going to jump back to my questions here. I wish YouTube had that Facebook tool where, I could ask you guys if you are liking these questions or if that helped you and you could like thumbs up or give me hearts and then I would know. But like YouTube doesn't really do that. So it's a bit hard to gauge, I must say. Okay, I think this was the best question that came through and it comes from Emily. And it's a great question because she didn't bombard me with like 10 questions in the one sentence, which a lot of people do. She literally just gets to the point and asked me, how can we be more specific in the way we analyze the effect of a technique? Great. So I wrote this down to give you as an example. So basically, analyzing the effect of a technique is the hardest part for most students. Students find it quite easy to identify a technique. They can obviously quote it, but then when it comes to explaining how does it persuade, either students just have no idea what they're doing. 2, they try, but it's really vague. 3, they try, but it's really broad. Yeah, it's not specific enough to that language technique. So I'm going to show you how to actually make your analysis more specific. I'm sorry if I use my hands a lot. Maybe I'm a very kind of visual communicator. Okay. Wow. Am I in a weird mood? I don't know. I can't tell. I've been working by myself all day, so maybe this being able to chat to you guys makes me happy. Okay, so a poor analysis is, and just listen to me, yeah? The author employs the rhetorical question, do you ever feel that your life is being taken over by machines? To persuade the readers to support his arguments, as this question already has an obvious answer. So, this is a version of a poor analysis. It's no good. Nah. The reason why is a lot of people actually analyze all rhetorical questions in this way. The rhetorical questions basically make the answer obvious, so you should abide by what the obvious answer is, because otherwise you seem a bit dumb, right? But you can't use the same technique for every single article you come across. One, it doesn't show any originality in your writing. And two, it shows that you're not actually really thinking about the purpose of this essay. So let me tell you a better analysis and let's see the difference, right? Okay. So the author employs the rhetorical question, do you ever feel that your life is being taken over by machines? Encouraging readers to provide a personal and honest response, provoking a sense of fear, and encourages readers to feel insecure? That should be insecure, as they realize that the robots are going to replace them. I know that you guys don't have the article for this, but you don't need to. Like, you should be able to understand what I'm saying just by a great analysis. So basically with this, the reason why it's good is because now we've actually connected machines to readers feeling insecure about their future and robots. Does that make sense? Let me know in the chat, wherever it is. So sometimes it just comes down to just making sure that whatever is being mentioned in the topic is reiterated in some form in your actual analysis. The more general you are, the less you're responding to what you need to do. I want to thank Rachel. She was actually the one who wrote that. She's one of my tutors, and I was looking through like past essays and documents I had that could answer this question. Hers was the first one I found. So yeah. Okay. Cool. How are you guys finding this? I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves and learning a thing or two. Okay. I'm just reading through what you guys are saying. Do you guys like that song by SZA? SZA? All the Stars or something? Oh man, it's in my head. Save for myself. Okay. Cool. Alright, I'm going to keep going with some of the questions I have. So, Pawana asked a second question, and she said basically like how to analyze an image. I have linked to you guys my blog, which is titled 10 Ways to Analyze Cartoons, but it's not just applicable to cartoons, it's applicable to any type of image like photographs, illustrations. So go and check that out. I think if you are a strong image analyzer, then you've definitely got like bonus marks coming your way. Cool. Okay. Oh, I've lost my mouse. Okay, so Jessica Carter asks, how do you identify key arguments and the contention in the articles? So there's a few tricks to this. One, if there's a byline, try to read that byline. Byline is essentially that like bolded part that comes just before an article or like at the end of an article. I don't know if I've taught byline on this channel before. But just look up byline and you'll see what I mean. BYLINE. That's a really good way to figure out what the contention is. The second way is, like, this is like if you're stuck, yeah? Try to pair up what they're saying at the start of their article and at the end. I feel like conclusions are really good for figuring out, like, basically that they're summing up what they're saying most of the time. So you can use that and link it to the start, because the start often, like, is them starting off with whatever idea they have that's most important to them. But when it comes to arguments, I would try to avoid thinking that arguments are just like one paragraph. Like if they have 4 paragraphs, doesn't mean that you should just rely on each one of those paragraphs for like a new argument. I think that's a very superficial way of looking at an article. And yeah, sure, maybe some articles are like that, but from what I've seen, articles tend to be a bit more complex. Their ideas are interwoven throughout the entire article. So please avoid being very simple in your response or in your findings of the actual argument itself. A great way that I try to figure out arguments is to establish stakeholders. So what this means is I have a look at every single person who's involved in this article. So let's just say if the article is we should stop buying meats from the supermarket and buy them at the butcher's, right? All the people that I can think off the top of my head would be the supermarkets, the customers, the butchers, the farmers. And so I try to figure out, okay, what are their different interests? What would they want to gain out of this? Or how would the author want to persuade each of them? And often or not, you can shape arguments around each of these parties. So yeah, it's very hard for me to explain, I guess, in detail without doing like a full-blown video. But if you guys want me to, I can do that too. Hi. I'm so excited for dinner, guys. So excited for dinner. Okay. Nancy asks, how do you expand your analysis? As in, do you need to use more than one technique in the same sentence? Oh, no. You definitely don't need to have more than one technique in a sentence. You don't need to analyze more than one technique at a time. Like, don't think of it that way. Think of it as, how do I analyze a technique the best way possible? And usually that's analyzing it on its own so that you can be very specific with what you need to say. So remember how we talked about the rhetorical question? Let's say you had the rhetorical question and then you also threw in another rhetorical question, right? And you want to group them together and say, oh, the author uses rhetorical questions to persuade the author. Sometimes this actually doesn't work very well, because what if that second quote has nothing to do with machines? Remember how in the first one we talked about being very specific. When you have a rhetorical question that talks about robots or machines, then you can provide a very specific answer and say, this makes or persuades readers to feel more insecure and therefore question their future where robots will be used widely. But if you have a second quotation, who knows what this quotation is going to be about? Unless it actually repeats the other one and has machines in it, you won't be able to offer that kind of insightful analysis. So personally, I avoid it. Sometimes I will once I've talked about one technique, I will talk about another technique and maybe discuss how it compounds the technique before. And so that's like my way of combining them. But I don't try to use an appeal to fear and a negative connotation and analyze that at the same time. Chantel says, what's the best way to manage time? It takes me 3 hours to write. Oh no, that's so long, isn't it? Look, we've all been there. We've all been in a place where it's just taken us so long to write a bloody essay, right? I think a really good way to go about that is, and I've said this before, just start. put yourself on a timer and say, okay, I'm going to give myself 20 minutes to write this paragraph and I'm going to smash it out. And you don't like and and about what you're writing. You just write it. Like, the whole point is to get yourself actually writing in the first place and not necessarily taking a step back all the time. Like, after every second word you've written, go, oh, am I writing the right thing? Or should I rub that out or cross it out and rewrite it again? Just write the damn thing, you know? That's a really good way to do it, because then the best part in learning is not the actual doing, it's the reflecting. It's when you learn from your mistakes. So you want to spend more time doing that than like a long time writing your essay. That's my tip. Okay, Amina says, I was told by my teacher that structure is not very important when analysing arguments. Okay, so I would say that I agree with your teacher. Like, personally, I find that analysing argument is not very stiff in its structure. It's not like a text response where you have your introduction, your 3 body paragraphs, and your conclusion. You can actually be a lot more flexible. So you could have like 4 body paragraphs, you could have 5. I know some schools actually teach their students not to even have conclusions. So yes, I'm putting that out there. You just do what your teacher tells you to do. You know what I'm saying? Because they're the ones marking your sacks. So we wanna make them happy. But yes, I do agree that a structure is a lot more flexible when it comes to analysing argument. What do I analyse in my body paragraphs when comparing different articles? Honestly, I can't answer that question. Like, that depends on what the articles are actually about and what techniques you come across. Obviously, I think there are 2 that I feel like you can always kind of maybe have a think about them, and that's tone and audience. So, yeah, that's my tip. Am I lagging, guys? Or is it all matching up? I don't know. Ooh. Do you have a large list of techniques on your blog we can use? Yes. So in the description box below, I have 195 tones. And also, I have 195 tones. And on the actual site, do I have like a language technique list? I may not actually, but I do in my study guide. So that's a good point. Maybe I should write one up. Thanks for letting me know, Chantel, that it's matching up. Yeah, I will do something with that. Okay, so I wanted to ask you guys, while you guys are still asking me questions, I am thinking of writing a new ebook, and I want your opinion. I was thinking of 2 different titles, and depending on what you guys want, I will do whatever it is. So the first one is The Ultimate Guide to Breaking Down Essay Prompts, and the second one is How to Write a Killer Essay. So can you guys let me know which ones you would prefer? That would be really handy, because obviously I'm just creating it for you guys. So yeah, let me know and I will pour my heart and soul into writing one up for you guys, because I feel like that's something that's missing in this VC world. Like, no one has really written something like that before. Yeah. Cool. Okay, I'm going to go through a few more questions and then we're all going to go have dinner. Have any of you had dinner yet? Okay. I have a tendency to go over the word limit. I try not to elaborate, but it always ends up happening. Help. Yes, I know. This one is more general, I guess, but being concise is hard. Like, it's not something that comes just like that. You have to really work on it. So, like I said before, when you do like your proofreading, when you actually look back at your writing and you edit it, that's when you actually improve the most. So what I would do as part of your proofreading, Katrina, is I would grab a big red pen, right, and just start crossing out words you don't think you need. I know it's really hard because you're the one who has written your essay, so you can't really tell which question, like which words you don't need anymore, right? But that's why I want you to literally go in there and start crossing things. It's only when you remove things, then you can look at the sentence, read it again and go, do I need that word or not? And if you don't, if it doesn't make a difference, goodbye. And like, I feel like the word the is a really easy one to get rid of and one that everyone uses too much. Okay, cool. Ooh, okay, thanks guys for letting me know. So just to repeat, first one is the ultimate guide to breaking down essay prompts. So it would be stuff like finding keywords. What does keywords mean? How to respond to different types of essay prompts. So if you've got like a question at the end, or if you've got discuss, or if your prompt has a quote in it, what would you do in that case? Or if you had a comparative type of prompt where it's like, this text is more about love than it is about fate. Like, how do you deal with that more? It's like, it's very specific. So that's that. And then the second one is how to write a killer essay, which is more about the writing side of things. So views and values, meta language. Yeah. Hi, Monica. Okie dokie. So, guys, I feel like we're running out of questions. Cool. Well, I'm very happy. I will let you guys know that my next live stream is Friday, the 25th of May. And I will also be doing Analyzing Argument once again. I'm going to do it again just because I feel like this is a part of the course that is really tough for a lot of people. Most people have like questions, so yeah, jot that date down in your diaries. Hi, Raj. Hi, Cherry. Okay. So, I wanted to let you guys know if you are really struggling or if you just want to find that extra oomph to help your analyzing argument essay, I do have an online course. So that's linked in the bottom of this video. And in that link, I've given you guys a coupon as well, so you can save 15 off. And it's 5 hours worth of analyzing argument. I have updated it to match the 2018 syllabus. And basically, it's like, it's my all. It's everything I know about analyzing argument. It's everything from how to analyze, to structuring, to looking at tones and arguments and planning and just like my personal tips that I would give to you when it comes to analyzing arguments. So yeah, go check it out if you're interested. Okay. I think I'm actually going to leave it there, guys. I have really had fun seeing you guys today. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been wonderful. And I am going to ask the same questions in a poll in the subscription section of your app. I don't know. YouTube really confuses me. Chantel says, yes, I've got the online course. It's such a lifesaver. That's so great to hear. Thank you so much. It's people like you who let me know that I'm doing a good job. So thank you. Okay, so I will see you guys in a month, but until then, I've got a few really exciting videos coming up for you guys. And yeah, don't forget, if you did want to support me, then Victorian Young Achievers Award, you can just vote just down below. Alright guys, much love. I will see you guys very shortly, and have a lovely night. Look how dark it's getting out.